What's good people, it's JayCactus back with another tutorial, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to structure or arrange a beat. This is actually by request. I've had quite a few people message me and ask me to do this video, but I'm also going to be teaching you some of the theory as well, because I think it's important to know why you're doing something when you're doing it. And shout out to everyone that entered the free giveaway. If you didn't, then check out my last video where I talk you through how to do it. I've seen all the messages from everyone, so I'm still going to announce the 3 winners on Tuesday, but let's jump straight into it. Alright, so the theory that I want to talk about before we start is basic music theory. It's beats and bars. So I feel like there's a lot of confusion when it comes to this, especially for beginners, so I just wanted to clear everything up. And I'm sorry if you already know this. Like I said, it is basic music theory, but it's good to understand, especially when it comes to structuring tracks and arranging them. So you can think of a bar as basically like a period of time within the song, like a short period of time. And then you can think of the beats kind of like a pulse that's going through the song. So if you're like nodding your head to a beat or tapping along to a beat, then usually each tap or nod would be a beat, right? So let me play with the metronome just so you know what I'm saying. So each tap is basically a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, and then especially for hip hop and drill and trap, usually the time signature is 4/4, which means there's 4 beats per every bar. So if I play this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that's 4 bars. So usually when I'm structuring verses, you'll hear rappers say they want to spit a 16. And usually when you're creating that in FL, if you're working in the tempo of 140, technically speaking, it's 32, because when rappers are counting it, they'll go from the snare. So let me give you an example. So if it's a trap beat, it would be like this. So technically speaking, that's 2 bars, because if you listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I turn the metronome off, a rapper will usually go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's 1 bar. So that's where things get a bit confusing, but rappers always say that they want to spit a 16 bar in a verse, or most of the time anyway. So just to avoid confusion, we'll just treat it like that. It's the same thing as if you're working in 70 BPM. So really, if you heard that, that's like a 70 BPM. If we're going from 1 bar, that's 70 BPM. But it just gets a bit confusing because we're working in double time essentially. But right, let me just get straight to it and then it will make more sense. I've already separated my patterns. I've basically finished this beat. You can see I've got all my instruments here. So what I'll usually do is, I'll start with everything in the channel rack. I'll get all the sounds that I want. So I've got a brass, a choir, bells, strings, and then my drums. And then when it comes to arranging it, I'll come to the playlist. And then let's say I had everything in here. I'd come up here and then go to split by channel. And that splits it all out like this. So from here I can drag everything in. Right? And then I usually have my instruments on the top. So I can hold Alt and Shift and bring this choir up. Just bring it here. I like to have my instruments up here and then my drums at the bottom. And I usually have my 808 just underneath the kick. You don't have to do it this way, it's just what I've got used to. So you can even see from here, it says 1 to 9. So this section is telling you that it's 8 bars, but remember what I said, so rappers are counting it from the snare, they count it in halftime. So let's just pretend that this is 4 bars just to avoid confusion. Instead of sending it to a rapper and saying, yo, I need you on 32 bars, it's just easier for them to understand, right? And then what you can do from here is you've got all your instruments laid out, all your drums. I just press Control and A to highlight everything, and then Control and B. And usually when people are structuring beats, what I see all the time is we'll start like this. So we'll copy this out a few times, and then they'll say, right, let's have the instruments here. Or maybe another one. So they'll have intro with just instruments, or maybe just one of the instruments, and then everything comes in for the hook. And then some of the stuff comes out for the verse, and then it slowly builds back up to the hook again. Right? But today I want to do it a little bit different. I want to show you some techniques. So what I'm actually going to do is, I'm going to keep I've got this brass here. choir comes in. So it's sounding kind of epic, all this energy is building up. Right? So instead of everything just dropping now, which is what most people do for the hook, the problem is when you drop everything at the same time, you're giving away all the surprises. So if you've got everything in the hook, when you're playing the rest of the song, there's going to be no more surprises because everyone's already heard everything straight away. So it's not giving you a chance to build things up slowly to the next hook. But today I'm going to do it a little bit different. So I want the intro to be quite epic sounding. So you heard I've got the brass and the choir. And then I'm also going to use some effects as well, just to help build up the energy. So I've got this cymbal here, just to build up some more energy, just have it drop like there. I've even got this Godzilla sound. And then I want a crash. And then I think this is my reverse crash, yeah. So I want the reverse crash just landing in time with the normal crash. So I'm going to zoom in and just see how it sounds. But when everything drops, the brass and the choir is going to come out. And then I'm just going to have my bells and not even my strings. And then for the vocals, I'm just going to bring these back. Not even going to have the 808 come in, maybe halfway through. When you're structuring beats and arranging it right, you just want things to be coming in and out all the time. So don't have like everything at the same time like I was saying before. So keep it exciting for people. I'm going to show you a few tricks now. So let me just see what this sounds like. So remember the intro, all this energy is coming up, and usually people will just drop all the kicks and the snares and all the other drums with the brass and the choir, so everything's playing at the same time. But mine, I'm going to switch it up. So all this energy is going to build up and then it's just going to die out for the verse. So I'm actually starting with the verse this time. So I'm going to get rid of the brass here. See how you just wouldn't expect that? And then you can start bringing things in slowly. So right, I've got this transition here. I've just got the bells, the snare, the hi-hat and the clap. So the 808 is not coming in until halfway through. You can just play around and see what sounds good. So maybe bring it back. So kind of like that. And then when it comes to this section, I might change it up again. So I might add some breaks here. If you're gonna add breaks, what you could do is press C and then hold shift just to slice the parts that you want. So for here, let's just say I want to get rid of some hi-hats. Remember, we're just keeping it interesting. So little breaks, instruments coming in and out, that's the key. So right here, because the strings are coming in, let's just listen. That's fine, but I don't want the strings to play all the way through. Or the vocals. I think I just want it like this for now. In fact, let's not have the vocals yet. Again, we're just saving things. So from here I can go like this. Now the vocals can come in. And I might want to do something else here. Or even on this one, I could drop these here. And then the strings come in. And then on this section, I might take the hi-hats out. Now you kind of know it in your head that it's preparing for something else. I could take the snares out and the claps. And then I don't actually want the brass and the choir and everything playing at the same time. What I might do is, instead of having drums and everything for the hook, I might just repeat the intro. So just have the brass and the choir, copy the effects, and then copy the verse. And then I might want to transition in between the verse and the hook. So I could bring the reverse crash and the crash together. Let's see what this sounds like. Yeah, I like that. But let's actually take out the 808 as well. And then let's add the other cymbal in. Just so again, it's something that people wouldn't expect because you hear all this energy kind of building up and then it's just going back to the intro. So keep people guessing. So it feels like a bridge, but the rapper could either like talk through this, do something different with it, or they can spit through it. Choir comes back in. See, I think that sounds sick, and that's just a bit different to what most people are doing. And then let's say for the second verse, maybe switch it up a little bit again. So just do different breaks, just to keep it simple. What I'd sometimes do is when I'm listening to the verses, I'll just mute certain things just as I'm playing it and see what sounds good. So for example, so I like that there. See where the two snares and claps are hitting? Just get rid of that. In here. Still have the same break here. Bring the kicks out. Or maybe bring the snares out as well. And the claps. Just to add a bit of variation. And then again, this part can come back in. Shit, that's the wrong part. No, it's not. Just think maybe take that Godzilla sound out. And then at this point, because we're getting around about 3 minutes, we can start thinking about an outro. So what I'm thinking is have it drop again, but then just fade out. Not have the bass in. So I'm just going to label this just so everything's clear. So I'm going to highlight the intro, press Alt and T, just name it intro. And I'm going to go back to what I was saying at the start, because when you listen to this, right, I'm going to put the metronome on. And you can see from the numbers that this is actually 32 bars. It says it there, 17 to 49. That's 32 bars. But when the metronome's off, the rapper is going to count it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that little section in their head is 4 bars, right? So that's why I was saying we can just treat it as if it's 16 bars. But technically speaking, if the tempo is 140 here, then this is 32 bars. But try not to let that confuse you too much. I just wanted to clear it up. So I like to section things out like this, because if, for example, now I want to add volume automation, but just in the outro, if you double click on these sections, so I'll double click on outro, I can come to the mixer, go to master, create automation clip, and now you can see that the automation is just in the outro. So let me zoom in. So you can see here, so I'm going to copy this value just by right clicking and selecting copy value, and I want it to start fading out here. So if I right click and then right click again and paste value, now I can just bring this point down and maybe bring this up a bit. Maybe get the vocals in there. So there's so many different ways you can structure and arrange your beats, but I just wanted to give one example of how you can do things a little bit differently, because in all the videos that I see and in all the beats that I hear, everything seems to be structured the same way. There's always instruments in the beginning, and then a hook with everything, and then a verse with some of the instruments out, and then it slowly builds back up, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that in a lot of my beats, but this is just an example of how you can do things a little bit differently. So let me play this again. It's just a different feel, and then a rapper can go straight in with the verse and there'll be nothing but bars in this. And then when it comes to the hook, you can leave that up to them. But at least you've easily distinguished what's the verse and what the hook is, right? So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something from that. I hope it gave you a few new techniques to try out in your own beats. If you did like it, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.